5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, baby. Hello. You're right, peeps. How's it going? And I've just realised I've left that light on at the back. I thought it.
Turn it off.
Yep, top switch. If I believe, is it top switch?
Yeah.
Or is it second switch down? Second switch, I believe. So, sorry about that, everyone. Hi. There we go, Moody. Can if you like. So, what's going on, everyone? How are we all? There's Simon over there. There he is, the sexy bunda. So, what's going on in your lives, everybody? How are people? What you been up to?
Oh, Lee just like that.
Yeah? Where's that buzzing coming from? Do you hear it?
Yeah.
Ah,
Is that your
hang on.
iPad?
Oh, it's this. Hang on. There we go. Got it. It's that. All right, everyone. Sorry about that. Hey, guys. Sorry I missed the Mystery Mayhem. Lee, how ruddy dare you, sir? But no. It's a shame you weren't there, dude. But hey ho, we've all got lives to lead and things like that. I'm sure you had very important paperwork to be getting on with, or whatever it is you do in your life. But yeah, it was good fun. It was really nice to play some of the songs that we did. I got to play like Cemetery Gates, which is one of my favourite Pantera songs. And we also got to do We Die Young by Alison. Love that song. So that was really cool. And Hocus Pocus as well. Always a good giggle. So yeah, we had good fun. It was a really good laugh. Hi Mikey, hi Rob, hi Homer. Important question, guys. What are your thoughts and opinions on like guitar grades? What do you think? Here he comes.
I'm going to play guitar now.
Hello Leanne, everyone's here this evening.
Hello! Guitar grades. So, first of all, because you do guitar grades and stuff, don't you?
Yes.
So what do you think about it?
I think it all depends on the individual. For some people it gives kind of a good grounding and a good guidance if you want to progress in a certain way. Like certain syllabuses are quite good at getting you exposed to different kind of music. It's like playing a computer game, you know, and building your character. I've got to this level, I've got to this level, I've achieved this, I've achieved that. Some people like to have that feeling of achievement, and that's what drives them on. And also it's good, for example, if you want to go to like music college, and sometime, especially if you want to go into teaching as well, like having a grade 8 and everything is really good for that purpose. When it comes to musicianship, and say for example you wanted to be in a band and everything like that, I don't think it's that important. A lot of the great musicians of the world are not musically trained in any way. Some of the most original musicians in the world are definitely not musically trained, but they've had a massive impact on the musical world. So I think it all depends on what you feel floats your boat. If you're someone who's like, I just want to go out and just learn loads of stuff and just be inspired by everything left, right and centre, maybe grades aren't for you. If you're someone who feels that having targets to hit really helps you achieve, then I would probably say grades are for you. What's your thoughts?
I think basically he just wanted to tell us that he passed his grade 8 last Friday.
Ah. Doesn't matter what I
Hello,
said.
Rob. Hello, Rob. He had a great gig over the weekend at Beer Festival in Suffolk. People dancing on tables, great atmosphere. Only downside, because it was outside, it was effing freezing.
Yeah,
it was cold over the weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did a gig on Sunday, and I was playing bass, and towards the end of the gig, I was like, I can't feel the tips of my fingers, or the tip of my penis. I shouldn't have been playing with my willy up. Well, congratulations, Mikey, on passing your grade 8. Well done. So what is your plan now? Are you planning to go to music college, or I can't remember where you're at regarding your musical journey?
I've never had a lesson in my life.
Nope.
On any instrument, and
Nope.
I work as a full-time session musician. So
I would
personally, I don't think
I would
it makes any
personally
fucking
say,
difference.
from my limited experience, is work ethic and versatility and skill are more important than grades.
Carl!
There he is. Hello, Carl.
It was lovely to see Carl on. What day was we did the Mayhem on the Friday? Wasn't
On the
it?
Friday,
Yeah. I can't remember. So I had the Mayhem on the Friday, and then I had Sons of Southport on Saturday and Sunday. Sunday we were in Brentwood. I can't remember what the place was called. I think it was the Swan. It was proper mental. It was a proper.
Was
mental
it good
night.
mental?
Yeah, they were a really nice bunch, but we really had a good, I'm never bothered about the audience, but it was really mental in the place, but the band sounded...
He doesn't mean, by the way, he just doesn't give a shit about you. What he actually means is whether it's 2 people or 2,000 people, it's Simon does a Simon performance no matter what.
Yeah, and we didn't. The place we played, we were in Benfleet. Normally on the Saturday, normally that's a really busy place. It was really quite dead in there. But we really enjoyed the gig because we were all just playing and jamming. I was calling out, right, just getting people to name songs, whatever they wanted.
I do like gigs like
and
that.
And then we
sometimes.
played. It was really good fun. Really, really good fun. And it was absolutely packed on Sunday, and we didn't play any different. We just, did the odd sod. Yo,
and Jim. Hello, Jim.
Jim, haven't seen you for a while,
Yeah,
man.
it's been ages, mate. How the hell? Please turn that.
Please
reverb.
turn that.
I don't know what you mean.
There, happy?
This is the voice of your conscience speaking, Jim. We haven't spoken for a long time. Because you're a naughty boy. There we go. Is that better? There we go. Just a little bit of reverb in the background.
Taylor's due to start with Green Flag soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm not sure. Is it? I can't think if it's this week you're starting, but anyway, I hope it's. He was doing 3 weeks, I think, before he started. So.
Are they better than RAC? Because being told that it's going to take 5 hours for them even just to come out to you, and by then they'll just go, yeah, we can't fix you here, so we'll have to tow you home 3 days later or something like that. It's starting to get a bit silly now. There you go.
I've always been with the AA.
I was for a while, and then I found them just as bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All right.
Right, what do you want to do?
Something easy, because my voice is still not recovered from the weekend. Hello, Mark. Thank you, Mark. Cheers, Mark. And thank you, Carl Weiss, for liking the stream. I don't even know what I can play bass on, actually. Do you know Losing My Religion?
Yeah.
Yeah? I think I can remember. I'm going to be blagging this. We'll try it anyway.
Second to last shift today. Oh, dude.
Ooh, getting close. Right, we'll see if my bass is okay. Right, let's try this. I don't think we've ever done this one on the stream, have we?
Probably not. Because we're a bunch of arseholes.
Yeah,
right, you ready?
Just fuckwits.
That's the best bit.
Distance in your eyes. Oh no, I've said too much. I've said enough. That's me in the corner. That's me in the spotlight, losing my religion, trying to keep said enough. I thought that I heard you laughing. I thought that I heard you say, I think I thought I saw you cry. Every whisper and every waking hour, I'm losing my confessions, trying to keep an eye on you, like a herd lost and blinded fool. Oh no, I've said too much. I said enough. Yeah, go. Consider this, the end of the century. Consider this, the sin that brought me to my knees. Failed. What if all these fantasies come trailing around, and now I've said too much. I thought that I heard you laughing. I thought that I heard you sing. I think I thought I saw you try.
Put your bass up. That was just a dream. That was just a dream. Me in the corner.
That's me in the spotlight, losing my religion, trying to keep an eye on you, but I don't know if I can do it. Oh no, I've said too much. I've said enough. I thought that I heard you laughing. I thought that I heard you sing. I think I thought I saw you try. That was just a dream. Why try? That was just a dream, just a dream, just a dream. Got there in the end. It's been a while since I played that. Barely. So Leanne says, Taylor is currently out saving the masses, but seems to be watching your streams, so obviously not fixing much. Hey, he's a skilled guy, he can multitask.
Bless his heart. Do you want to do that?
Ooh. I'll try. I'll pop this down for a moment. Oh. See if the voice can handle it.
I think this guitar might be a bit too loud, dude. I thought you hit your head against it.
Okay, we haven't done this one for a while.
Ready?
Yep, see how the voice works. When I first saw you, baby, you took my breath away. I knew I there was trouble, but my heart got in the way. Could stop myself from reaching out, I could not turn away. I don't even know your name, can't believe you're wrong. Running round in circles like a dog without a bone. You know it make me crazy, but baby, I just can't let go. So give all your love. give me all your love tonight. I'll do anything you want, just give me all of your loving tonight. I work hard every day to love and treat you right. I rock you in the morning, I roll you in the night. Any way you want, I'm gonna prove myself by you. So give me all your love tonight. Give me all your love tonight.
Backing vocals.
I'll do anything you want. Just give me all of your loving tonight. 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 Hello, TL. Give me all your love tonight. I'll do anything you want. Just give me all of your loving tonight. So give me all your love tonight. Give me all your love tonight. And I'll do anything you want. Give me all of your loving tonight. I'm blinded by your smile, crazy about your wall. I shiver and I shine. So give me all your love tonight. Give me all your love tonight. And I'll do anything you want. Give me all of your loving tonight. Anything you want from me. All your love tonight. Give me all your love tonight. And I'll do anything you want. Give me all of your loving tonight. Tonight. Jesus, forgot how high that is.
You did really well. Really well.
Jim says, how do you get away with streaming all the songs you do? I've only got to do one drum cover and it gets knocked off for copyright. All of these do get copyright claims against them, but generally it all depends on the artist you're covering. Excuse me. Thank you. That will get copyright claimed by probably Bernard Manning or someone. But yeah, if you do certain artists, like never do a cover of the Eagles, ever, because the chances are you will actually get a copyright strike. A copyright strike and claim are two different things. Claims just mean your video will be demonetized and any revenue will be shared with that artist. Rightfully so, you're using their music. People like the Eagles, Simon and Garfunkel is another one, AC/DC as well.
Oh, don't go near AC/DC.
Yeah, AC/DC, your video will get completely blocked. The Eagles, you will actually get a copyright strike, which will shut your channel down for a while. If you get 3 strikes, you lose everything. So, yeah, the Eagles. Don Henley's a prick. Horrible man. Sue me for that one, Don. It's probably you get a copyright strike for using his name.
Carrie said, you did well, Michael.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Clearly I didn't. She fucking hates me, doesn't she?
Oh, you have no idea.
Right, you ready for this?
Scum isn't even the word.
Power of Love?
Yeah.
Do you know what key this is in?
Starts on C, I think.
Okay, yep.
Let me just... Oh. Yep, I think that sounds about right.
You could put that a bit louder. I think that's a bit quiet.
What, the bass or the track?
We must start the track, yeah.
Yeah, the track's really quiet, Simon.
I know. Yeah, touch that.
Okay. You sure? It just means people will hear my playing.
Okay, you ready?
Okay.
bass are so loud,
I know.
louder than anything else.
I know,
on
it's
the
weird.
track.
It's on several of these tracks. All right. Leanne said, did you see the above messages or are they not working again? No, we did. I think so.
Yes, so...
What have we missed?
Leanne said about someone cut a car up.
Oh,
Someone cut the car up.
hang on. Let's have a look what we missed. Leanne said he couldn't get in the car. Keep going.
Yeah.
There we go.
Right. So Taylor, right. I'll have to tell you about all about the guy yesterday. He went out who was going to cut his car open with a power tool very aggressively, kicking off, telling everyone he was a mechanic. So it couldn't be an easy fit. Taylor got there, put the key in the door.
Oh, amazing. He couldn't get in the car because the electric fob wasn't working, but didn't think to put the key in. See, we used to have, back in the day when, you know, man roamed the various jungles, we had things like lions and various wild animals and, you know, just big holes in the ground and stuff that people of an evolutionary disability would generally fall in, and that's what would make the tribe stronger. These days, unfortunately, idiocy is allowed to be bred and bred and bred again.
Oh, God,
So,
that's so funny.
Hey ho.
Sorry. Carrie Ann. Wonderful harmony, Simon. Yeah!
Yay!
She really likes me.
It's only taken how many years?
And I'm hanging in there by a thin thread. Teal says, Power of Love won't buy you a lot of bread.
Loaf of bread, but it makes for a good song. Hey, come on, man. You know, love can do all sorts of things. Maybe just a bit of love. A love to the right person. I'm not going to tell that story. It's something Dave Mustaine said, but it's not. It's
Love changes everything. Hearts and faces, minds and keys.
But if you can show someone love, maybe they'll feed you. There you go.
Someone was obviously using the family brain cell that day.
Keeps it in a little jar that they wear around the neck.
It's my turn today. Right, what else do you want to do?
It's like, what's the mythical, was it, I think in Greek mythology, where you had the three witches who shared the one eye, or they were...
The fuck are you talking about?
Or no, they were Gorgons, I think.
They were witches who were Gorgons.
Or it was...
Gorgonzola.
I think it was Gorgons, and they basically, three of them, and they shared one eye between them.
Right.
So, I think that's Greek mythology. Homer, you would know this. Get on the case, Homer. Hello, Sonia, how you doing?
Hello, right. Do you want to do Rock's Primal Scream?
Yeah, I can do that. Okay. play this note. Pretty much. Okay, you can. Fine.
Get you.
Life is but an echo. Ooh, no idea what I'm talking about, by the way.
So Carrie said, I can hear this twice within a few seconds due to the monitor in our room, and it's like an echo.
Oh, see,
Just a delayed
just
one.
bathing in the doubleness of our sound. or for someone who's autistic, it's an absolute fucking nightmare.
Repeats itself like Groundhog Day.
Yep, that's pretty much what we do. Same shit every week.
Never gets any better.
All right, we're going to do one more, and then we're going to go on to our little chatty subject, which I think is going to be quite interesting.
Do you want to do...
Running with the devil?
Yeah?
I don't know it that well.
Well, then don't do it then. That's how you're going to be. Oh, should we do Sledgehammer? That's always good fun.
Yep, okay. Yeah, take this off.
You've got it in E flat though, haven't you? Like a bunch of arseholes.
Probably. I do have a bunch of arseholes.
Using mainly a bunch of arseholes. Right. I bet the BVs are ridiculously loud again.
Oh, those damn BVs.
Oh, damn you BVs. Damn you to Hades. Right, you ready?
What's your name, Edward? You could dabby does the children.
Fantastic song that is.
Thank you. Who was that? Sonia. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you very much indeed.
It looked like it said Cover.
I thought it looked.
I thought, is this someone called
Mines
COVID?
are a little bit dodgy, and it looked like Conan Pilgrim. That's it. Has Sonia got children?
I have no idea.
Sonia, if you feel like having another child, please name it Conan. Conan Pilgrim. It's a good, strong name.
That does sound like a superhero, doesn't it?
Hello, Dave. It's the ham is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Daddy Ham.
Head ham.
The head ham. Right. Should we do some chat?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Okay. Chat time, everybody. Hope you're ready. And here we go. As Simon pointed out, that is actually a genuine recording of us talking. Okay, so we are on our classic TV, as I like to be. And our chat subject tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is perception.
Ah.
Yes.
Right, lay your table out.
Okay. This has been brought up on the subject as for those of you who will read my latest Facebook post, how people perceive you, how people perceive things, situations, ideas, and sort of what influences why we think those things. So this is just a general conversation, not necessarily a question, but how there was a really good, what was it, and someone seeing, like, for example, a cylinder and saying that person's perception, if you're looking from the end, is a circle. As soon as you move away from that, then all of a sudden your perception changes when you get a better idea of what you're looking at.
So, thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
So,
Timer on.
Go.
Excuse me.
Right, so perception. So, good and bad points of perception.
Perception can be a wonderful thing in perceiving the world around us. It can spot potential hazards. It can gain sort of in a situation. You can gain positives and negatives depending on your perception and also the amount of information you have at your disposal to influence that perception. Bad points, perception without information or knowledge to back it up, I feel can be greatly skewed in a very negative direction.
Sorry, it's just reading a couple of the comments. Carrie-Anne said Simon needs to do this channeling Edward's voice.
Yeah.
That's another story.
We'll tell that after this.
Yeah. Meltminder said, I use anti-perception deodorant.
Nice.
All right, Paul. So, the interesting thing about perception is everything is down to perception.
Yes.
Our perception of the world. And so we have our five senses that we perceive the world. And scientists, there was a study done earlier this year.
You heard it here first.
That was investigating a sixth sense.
Ooh.
A genuine sixth sense.
Tell me more.
Well, it's very, very early days in the study, and it's not even properly peer reviewed. But the study came out in Science journal and stuff. So, but anyway, let's get back to our five senses because that's a supposition on something that may or may not be. So. Our five senses, we perceive everything. Now, what's interesting with people is normally when we first meet people or we first get to know people, people are generally, in very general terms, are on their best behaviour. So they always try and give their best version of themselves.
Our Sunday best.
Yeah, and when you meet people in small doses, you're getting to see that. The version of them they're putting forward that they feel is their best version. But where we really get to know people is under stress. That's where we really start to show a lot of our innate qualities, good and bad. And so that's when we really get to know people, when we work with them, when you're living with somebody and you get to see them where they can't always be on their best behaviour.
Yeah.
They can't. That's really interesting. And that some people are very good at masking that, and some people are a lot more kind of more open and honest with the way that they. But everybody has that that thing where they always want to put their best foot forward. They always want to give their best version of themselves. So where people say, I don't care what people think of me and stuff like that, it's actually quite impossible for us to do that to like the real nth degree. So in very general terms, they might say, I don't really care what people think of me, but we actually all do that, where we try and be on our best behaviour in most circumstances with other people. And it's only when we have a long relationship with somebody, or a longer relationship, or if we particularly don't like someone or we don't care about them, then we're like, well, I'll show you the bits that, because I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I find that very interesting when, for example, a lot of people, as you say, they're like, I don't care what people think about me. One of the ones I find is when people say, like, I dress for myself, or I dress for nobody but me. And you say, okay, so what do you wear at home? And they're like, oh, I just wear like trackies and a crappy top. Why don't you wear that when you're outside? And like, well, there's always usually a stumble at this point. And you say, well, you're wearing it because you're going out into an environment where there are other people. So therefore, you are wanting to be perceived in a different way.
But also, as well, so a similar sort of idea to that, and this is just a small part of people's personalities as well. If the example that if you were on a desert island and nobody else was there, what would you be bothered about? Would you be bothered about the way you dress, or
how you smell, how you...
all those things. So all those things are things, and again, because we've evolved to be in a society, and the difference between Homo sapiens and pre-Magnum man, I was going to say.
Pre-Magnum man. I'm going to turn the timer off, by the way, because there's no point of us having it.
I thought, we're drawing to a close now. Was that thing of we learnt that we progressed and that we benefited, and we had a longer life, we ate better, we had better care, we had better healing, working in a social environment, working in a group, working in a team, and being part of that. And so a lot of those things, the experiment where people are in the same, they're put in a room and they don't realise that the rest of the group are a stooge, and and they're told, right, so 2 + 2, hands up if you think it's A, 3, hands up if you think it's B, and so the first answers are done, and then as the answers go on, the group are told to choose the wrong answers. And people, to about 90% of people, will go with the crowd because of peer pressure, and we're all subject to that. Sorry, what's TL
says? The most calm person in the world would be considered a good person by most.
That's a really interesting point there, TL. The most calm person in the world would be considered a good person. What if they were calm and callous?
Would you say like placid, or
someone who was sadistic, but was sadistic calmly?
Yeah, you can have that. You can have, like, in a situation where people say maybe need to be a bit more forthright, need to have a bit more up and go. If someone's like, no, it's fine, man, I'm just really calm. It's like,
kill them all.
Yeah. Calm has its downsides, I think.
That is interesting. That's a really interesting point. Jim said, on the other hand,
it's always the quiet ones.
It's always the quiet ones. And there's lots of those kind of, like, what would you say, like old wives' tales, those kind of mottos or tropes.
They often say in a fight situation, like, if you there's people who like analyse like street fights where people have started fronting up to each other, and you said you can tell when people don't want to fight, because a lot of the time they'll be like, yeah, come on then.
Of fronting, yeah.
Exactly. There's lots of fronting, but there's a very sort of to actually commit, they're very, very reluctant. And also, it's the people who don't seem to be afraid, who don't say much, who will just walk into a fight
with confidence,
and just go. And they're the ones that when someone like just comes walking up to your car, not screaming and shouting, that's when you really need to shit yourself.
Teal said, but I would count that person to protect someone. Sorry, Teal, I don't understand what that means. So the most calm person in the world would be considered a good person by most, but I would count on that person to protect someone. I think in a situation of danger or catastrophe, a calm head is definitely
panic is not a good thing.
Yeah, because your the brain is being overloaded by too much stimulus. So I would say definitely. So I think that's the context that you mean.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong, but I think that's the context that you mean. So a calm person in a tragedy or a moment of danger would be someone that you would count on, someone who can keep their head and think through a problem calmly and analyse it without rushing to wild conclusions.
You know what they say about gingers and their tempers? I've only got a ginger beard, so my temper is restricted purely to my chin. So I have a very angry chin.
You're quite gingery now. There is actually scientific evidence to say that people with ginger hair
have angry chins.
Have a higher tolerance for pain.
I do have a high pain tolerance, but it's true. I had a head tattoo, and me and the tattooist ended up just singing Bohemian Rhapsody together while he was doing it.
Wow.
So that was good fun.
Yeah, so yeah,
you got it, Sam. You got it.
That's what the old meant. Yeah.
So, but regarding perception, because one of the reasons we were having a big conversation about how people perceive, especially musicians, and Simon was talking about the fact of, and Dave Grohl mentioned this in his book as well, when as a musician, people view you in a certain light, or a film star, or even at the level we are, which is, I mean, Simon has done far more highbrow stuff than I've ever done, but even just being in like local bands, unless you know what a bunch of tits we are, like you guys know how we are, but to people who meet you for the first time, they do view you as something different. They have a preconception, a different perception of preconceived notion of what being in a band is. And Carrie will tell you this. The amount of people that come up to her, oh, you must feel really lucky or be so proud of being with someone in a band.
Sorry, I just saw Jim's joke. I found bullet holes in my cornflake box. It was a serial killer.
Boom!
Perception can be easily altered using the right methods. We have a layer of skin less as well.
Hence why we burn more easy. I don't think that's true. It's just that you have a difference in the pigment.
It's the melanin.
Melanin in your skin.
In your skin.
You don't have protection, basically. That's why black skin, even though...
Well, darker skin. Darker skin has more melanin, therefore it absorbs more of the ultraviolet.
Yeah.
Whereas lighter skin has less melanin and doesn't absorb so much ultraviolet. That's why it affects the skin.
Even with dark skin, you can still tan.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I didn't really understand that until I did my laser course and things like that for laser removal, and said, it's even sort of the darkest dark will still turn a darker shade.
It will still absorb. It just takes longer. That's it. So that the less melanin, the quicker the response is to ultraviolet light. Yeah.
But yeah, so when we talk about how people perceive you as a musician, hello Emma.
Emma, hello.
Hello, darling. The reality of being, like, for example, a musician's girlfriend. If they say, oh, I get to go to all these places and I get to hang out with all this.
So there's a perception that there's some sort of glamorousness with it, but it's a trope, and it's something that people are... we were talking about kind of tropes and stuff with various different professions. There's certain professions that people have a preconceived notion or idea about. And also as well, how you are on stage. So I'm naturally quite a shy person, so I don't often really look at the audience. So I kind of keep my head down and I kind of jump around like an arsehole a lot and stuff like that. And people think I'm quite a rough or kind of
rock star.
Kind of a rough person, and then when I talk to them, they're always like, "Oh, I didn't realise you were. I didn't
realise you could string syllables and sentences together."
Yeah, I used to when I first started playing in Essex. I used to get this all the time. Don't you talk posh? And I mean, I don't think
no,
I do.
I talk correctly. There's a difference.
I mean, I don't think I enunciate particularly any way one way or t'other. But
you're not posh, but you're very eloquent. You're not Edward.
No,
We'll tell you about that.
we can tell you about that. Yeah, so there's a perception of what they think you're going to be, and I think you see that with a lot of things. People in sports, people in, I don't know, say cage fighters or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
People see that, and you have you see that in that little snapshot, and because that's all the information you get, you then, again, through your experience and your frame of references, you assign certain things. We've evolved to do that. Everything we see, we judge and we try and categorise, because
We love to pigeonhole everything, don't we? And put everything in little boxes.
we've evolved to be aware of danger. So we try and watch for anything that can be harmful to us. Then once we say, oh, it's not going to be harmful to us, we then go, right, what is it? What is it like? And then we go, oh, it's like that. I know what it's going to be.
Mark says, I've had that most of my life because of the way I look. People can be a bit put off until they know me. Yeah, especially like...
Mark has a second head.
Yes, that's exactly what it is, yeah.
Yeah, again, you know, Carrie said the same thing as well with people that dress alternative or have an alternative dress sense. That people have a preconceived notion of what that personality is going to be like. Sonia said, pop stars are very different to musicians. In what way, Sonia?
Oh, do tell. Enlighten
in what
us.
way?
But
one would speak correctly, sips port, smokes
yes.
cigar.
But it is interesting. The reason this came up was Simon has told me, and various people have told me, that how I am perceived by other people, and it's always very interesting, isn't it, to learn how other people perceive you. Like I didn't realise, obviously, a lot of people I know now who've known me for so long forget I have a tattoo on my head. They don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
But of course, when people first meet you, I am a skinhead with a head tattoo.
Yeah, so the first few times we went out and played together, and people would say like, are you all right playing with the skinhead? Like that, you know? And so,
Captain EDL here.
Yeah, but saw you with a shaved head, and then attached certain values to you.
Yeah.
The same way as people see my skin colour and immediately attach certain values to that.
Yes.
And again, that's a very human thing. It's that we've evolved to do that.
Yeah, but do they have to be such a dick about it?
But we would have, you and I would have done that with certain things. We would have seen the way someone's dressed, and we would think, all right, that's going to be that. So if I saw someone with a big Union Jack on their front, again, from my experience of being beaten up by people with Union Jacks, I'm going to think, all right, does that person fit
I
within
definitely
that?
have a clothing bias. Absolutely. Like, for example, if I see, you could dress the same person, if I saw them in a suit, and then you dressed exactly the same person, kind of in a trackie and hoodie.
You would attach different characters.
Absolutely.
To that.
I'm far more intimidated by people who sort of look like they might be in gangs or...
Again, so you've evolved to see a certain dress sense as being a possible threat to you.
Yes.
So instantly then you go, right, I categorise that as that. So, right, Emma said, I have another issue. One, because I'm disabled, but being 45 people always think I look around 20 or 30, and then when I talk, they think I'm a child. That's interesting.
Can you explain that a bit more, Emma?
So I think Emma's saying she's at a certain age, but her looks belie that.
Oh, okay.
And then people think that she's a lot younger.
I see. Yeah. So it changes how they actually approach you and how they speak to you. Tio said, I thought you were the lady in red when I first met you, Mike. Is dancing with me, cheek to cheek. Was I see, me and TL, we were part of an online musician thing.
Yeah.
And that may have been the moment Teal might have first met me where I was in drag. Possibly.
So again, if someone sees that, they're going to think they're going to make so many assumptions with that, which is very, very normal. So Meltminder said, I have a Lambretta Parker coat and it has a Union Jack on it. So again, if someone saw that, they would instantly connect you with a mod lifestyle. They would, say, oh, you must like, I don't know, The Who or whatever. They're going to see that very much within that frame of reference, because again, that's how people's brains work. Sonia, I'd really love to know what you meant by that. Pop stars are very different to musicians.
Yes, please let us know.
Yeah, you got to tell us.
Definitely.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's a very normal thing, and the more we get to know about any subject, obviously we learn, and then we go, oh right, there's caveats to that. There's reasons for this and stuff. But it's some people I think are aware that on limited knowledge they have limited understanding, and other people, I think, whatever their first impression is, they go, that must be right.
Yeah.
I'm always
Emma
right.
says, yeah, that's right, Simon. Lol, Mike. Yeah, on the phone, people ask me if my mum and dad are at home, and if I say so, they get in a panic. If I say no, they get in a panic. My talking voice didn't develop properly.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Right. Yeah. So, again, that makes sense, doesn't it? It's you just... But unless people know you, I suppose it's one... Because I know for a lot of people, isn't it? It's like children are a great example of this.
Sorry, just read
When children... Like most of the time... Like if children see something that they haven't perceived before or something, they will just openly stare at you. While as an adult, you kind of know that even if you see someone who, like I saw this poor woman in Tesco's, she must have had some kind of really bad facial infection because half her face, she looked like something out of Shaun of the Dead, and that's not me taking the piss at all. She looked like half her face was dead. And it was purple and hanging down, and her eye, the poor woman must have been going through so. And it's kind of one of those things that because you've never seen it before, your natural inclination is to view that, and then immediately, like as an adult, you're like, no, it's rude to stare, don't stare. So immediately you correct yourself. You might give a second glance, and then you try and carry on. But again, that perception is just as soon as you see something that doesn't quite fit in a box that you're used to. It's so bizarre, isn't it? How it can hit you like that. Sorry, just what? I can't read. Is that Heidi or Heldy? Heidi.
I'm so sorry, Heidi. She said,
hello, Heidi.
Mark Norrington, once you get to know him, then you tend to run and hide anyway. But might have said, I got on a train one day at Sheffield and someone looked at me and then moved further down the carriage. I'm not sure if it was the parker or the fact that I may have smelled weed. I'm sure it didn't. I'm sure I didn't, though. Again, it's such a... Heidi, I can see it's Heidi here. Heidi, hello. It's very a natural thing, but it's... some people just will go on their first instinct and will run with that. And I think, again, experience, maturity, various things. I think a lot of us always try and go, all right, that's my first impression, but I try and learn more to get around a picture before I but it's just how we've evolved.
It's something interesting that Carrie discovered, because Carrie me and Carrie have talked about mental health and all sorts on this channel ages ago, so this is no kind of like big secret or anything. Because of sort of Carrie was very standoffish with a lot of people because she'd been treated badly and she'd been given abuse for being alternative and everything, so she would appear very closed off and very sort of resting bitch face, kind of very sort of combative when you looked at her. And she said people would act more likely to act negatively because of that look, and she realised that if she kind of made herself naturally look more... It could just be the way your posture is. Like if, for example, if you're walking through town and you're all hunched up and kind of looking all self-conscious, you give off a certain vibe, don't you? And people will have a kind of perception of that.
We internally register body language,
yes.
And we register facial expressions. So there's a science of micro expressions. So as certain parts of your brain are stimulated, we have certain tics and gestures and stuff like that. And I can't think of the doctor that was one of the front runners of this, but it is a really interesting science. But again, lots of those things, just as IQs, for instance. So if you're trying to tell if someone's telling a lie, as they're using different parts of their brain, if they're making up something, if they're remembering something, where their eye goes to, those IQs are uncontrollable, because as your brain references things, your eyes instinctively go to those places. Sonia said, sorry, so what I was going to say, sorry, I didn't finish what I was saying. So
we're talking about how you present yourself.
Yeah, so I kind of trained myself from a very young age, because I remember walking to school when I was about I must have been about 8 or 9 or something, noticing how some people would say, I lived in a fairly small village in Kent, and some people would say, "Oh, good morning," and other people would just give me a stern look. Some people would just say, like, "Oh, you know,
they call me something horrible."
So I always used to, as soon as I made eye contact with someone, I'd smile at them, and I thought, you know, brought up as a good Christian boy, you know, put out good things into the world and see what happens. But it's really interesting. So I still, to this day, when I see someone, I'll smile at them.
Yeah.
And some people will instantly reflect that if they're not guarded. Other people, if they're guarded, will instantly think, "Oh God, he's going to come and talk to me," or "He must be selling something," or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can see that the body language tense up or you know, look away. And it's really interesting how humans are like that. We're missing some of this stuff.
Oh, sorry. Sonia, pop.
Darren said the Roebuck in Rayleigh was not ready for Mark.
Sonia says pop stars lap up attention and fame and usually disappear in a few years. Oh, hang on, we just lost that. Coming back. Usually disappear in a few years. I have earned a decent amount of money. Musicians love what they do and make music their life. But again, you could get music who make music their life but have massive egos as well that goes with it.
So that's really interesting what you've said there,
because that's
Sonia.
an interesting perception.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So it's really interesting what you've said, because obviously that's your perception. So I've seen that from a different point of view. So I've worked with some people of great note, and I've worked with some people you would have never heard of and never will hear of, and then I've worked with people that just play pubs and clubs and small theatres or functions and stuff like that. And it's really interesting because the people that are really successful, they're surrounded by people all the time telling them, "You're wonderful, you're great, you are the best, you are wonderful, you are great." And then they'll have one thing where someone will criticise them, and it will send them into a spiral, because that breaks the
bubble. It pops the bubble, doesn't
the
it?
bubble, yeah. And they are so self-conscious, and they are so just in such mental torment. And also the perception that people that so we know quite a few people that have made a good name for themselves, have been working as musicians, would be considered what you might call famous, and you would be surprised that their money situation is not at all what you would expect it to be.
No, there's
and I've seen this where people I know, people that, you know, some people I've lent money to, where on the internet it says, "Oh, they've got this amount of millions, and they've got this amount," and it's just
I know
not
a band,
the case.
a very successful band, who have been playing for decades, and when they go out on tour, they have to max out their credit cards to be able to afford to basically do everything, and then they hope that they recoup enough when on tour to be able to come back and pay it all off.
Yep. And there's other bands I know where they've done. So, for instance, there was this one band that I was doing some work with, and they did a support slot. They went out with Velvet Revolver all throughout England, Europe, and they did the first leg of the US tour. So it was a big show for them. Their album sold really, really well. They didn't make a penny, and they could not afford to go out and tour again, because they all had bills to pay, rent to pay, whatever. And they just had to go and get normal jobs. And, you know, some people do make good money through the music industry, but it tends to be the people, most of the people that you don't see are the ones that make good money, and they have a life of anonymity, which is the best thing.
Yeah, especially people who write as Simon does. I mean, Simon tends to, you know, have his fingers in many pies. But I've got friends who, as Simon does as well, who write for music libraries, who have their music used in film, in adverts and everything. And because of the prolificness, is that right?
Yeah.
Of their writing, they have such a good, strong passive income. And, you know, you can, if you have a decent amount, like Simon is one of the most prolific writers because the man does not sleep. All he does is write and record music. So that is where your vast majority of your money comes from, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So
and then you have the other side, and like touring can be, can reap good rewards, but nothing that it used to be.
No.
The music industry is a shell of what it used to be, and also there's so many like bands that we know that just musicians playing in cover bands, and their egos far outstrip their ability. And so Brian May, for instance, I was lucky enough to record work and play with Brian May, and he's one of the very, very few people that I've worked with. As you start working your way up in the industry, you start to meet all your heroes, and so many of them, nearly all of them, I'd say, are a complete disappointment. But he was such a real, true gentleman, a really intelligent to talk to, searching in his mind, thoughtful, caring, and still just loves music. And when I warm up, I kind of go. I do have certain exercises I warm up before I start recording, and he at his stage, with all the things he'd done, he was going, Simon, that's really interesting. I love what you're doing there. Can you show me what you're doing? Like, he had the humility to do that.
He
that's
absolutely adores Nuno Bettencourt, doesn't he? When you hear you talk, he's like, Nuno is the best guitarist in the world.
And for someone at that stage, it would be so easy to again, he's surrounded by people telling him he's the best thing ever. And yet
he is the best thing ever. Though.
He really is. Honestly, he really is.
There's very few people, and if I could have my list of people I just want to give a cuddle to. That's all I want to do. Stephen Fry. Absolutely, I love Stephen Fry. Bill Bailey. You've got to give Bill Bailey a cuddle. And Brian May.
Yeah. Honestly, they're just... It's such a joy, and yet there's people we know in cover bands that, and Rob, there'll be people as well, Jim,
you all
Neil,
guys,
you'll know, and their egos outstripped what their kind of really, and they lap it up. Right, anyway, there's too much of that. Right, what was after?
Right, so we
Sonia?
had Sonia, Mark replying to Darren Paul. Roxy Red was even giving me a healthy. Oh yes, because they went to a Kiss tribute, and also I can't remember the name of the other band. Physiology. Jim says Darren Paul. Physiology. Rob says, when me and the missus went on our first holiday together, we got chatting to another couple by the pool older than us. It was all good. I took my two for a dip, and they saw my tattoos. They saw my tattoos. I think there was supposed to be more to that.
I think he's written it below.
Okay. Heidi says, looks like it's going to be a good one. Perception is the process of interpreting sensory information involving sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. It allows individuals to understand their environment and make decisions. Factors such as past experiences, cultural backgrounds, emotions, and expectations can influence perception. In psychology, it's studied to explore how different perceptions affect behaviours and interactions, including visual, auditory, and social perception. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, that's what we've just said, though, isn't it? Yeah. So
a beautiful
Rob
summarisation. Thank you, Heidi.
Then Rob said they stopped talking to us and moved to the other side of the pool. That's really interesting. Yeah, really, isn't it?
Very sad as well. You just look like a wrong Rob. We didn't want to say anything, Rob. You're a sexy. You're a sexy Rob.
He's such a sweetheart.
He's a lovely boy. He really is.
When I was a roadie, I was shocked how poor some groups lived. Yeah. Groups that were quite popular. Yeah. So exactly, Teal. When you see it from the other side, same with actors as well. People have there's a kind of belief that it's very glamorous and it's all that, and that is the image projected to the front because it helps promote the music and stuff, and it creates interest and stuff. But the reality of it often,
especially
is so different.
You're in the pop world where you see, like, on these talent shows.
The pop world is the worst.
Yeah, on the talent shows where it's, this guy's going to be a star, they're going to be this. No, they are going to sign him into a contract where basically he gets fuck all. They literally bum him to death through
if you
financial.
knew how Simon Cowell, and so Simon Cowell and Simon Fuller, they used to have a production company together, and they used to have a business partnership together. They had a bit of a falling out, and so they split the business down the middle. And if you saw how they work, how their contracts are laid out, how they wheedle every cent out of every single person that comes past them or they have anything to do, if you knew the full ins and outs of it, and there's lots of information out there about it, but it's truly unbelievable. I know I've had some dealings with both sides of them, and it is shocking. Simon Cowell, for instance, on every record that has ever gone through his production company, he's down as playing tambourine on whatever, so that he gets some sort of
Even though
residual.
he hasn't.
Yeah, he hasn't done it, but he gets some sort of residual
Royalty. Yeah.
Fucking can't remember that. It's the most important word in my vocabulary. Yeah, you know.
So Heidi says, sorry for the long blurbs. Don't apologise at all. It was it was beautifully summed up.
What we've been babbling on about, that's what we're saying. So we have our five senses, and our frame of reference is that's what we've evolved to put everything into, and that's how we judge things. And the more that we learn, then we change our worldview. So
it's been even interesting in our friendship and our relationship and everything that
are we friends?
No, we're just lovers.
Just
but
lovers.
My perception of Simon, and it hasn't like in the early days, and then sort of obviously as I know Simon now, and after like falling outs and had sort of getting our friendship back together and everything. The perceptions and the things that you realise how wrong you were about certain things, just because there was so many gaps. And
you've ended our friendship twice, haven't you?
Yes, I have. But hopefully now it's stronger than I feel it's stronger than it ever has been.
Can't fucking stand you. Homer says, in my younger days, I used to frequent a biker's pub, and they were the loveliest people you could imagine, and would do anything. Imagine they must have been on cycles with square wheels. Homer could imagine would do anything for you. Perception of them was very different, though. Yeah, exactly. That's absolutely. Jim says, surely that's fraud, claiming for something you didn't do. Good luck proving it, though. Well, exactly. Good luck proving it. And that's why, I mean, if you want modern day sharks, get into the music industry or get into the film industry. It's full of people like that. But yeah, to be fair, wherever there's money to be made, there's always some conniving son of a who will find some way to do it. Anyway, we've babbled on way too much, haven't we? So
sorry, we have
it was a really interesting conversation.
It is.
Really interesting conversation. Thank you so much all for joining in.
Okay, right, the last thing we're going to do is quickly tell you about the Edward thing that we've been hinting at before we wrap this up. So,
So you go. You do.
So yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We went to basically it's the Arthur Findlay College
Yeah.
in Stansted, which is kind of like a spiritualist college. They do lots of training for that kind of thing, and they have like an open day where you can come in and see.
So we spoke some time ago on this podcast. We were saying about the concept of
the paranormal.
Paranormal we were talking about, and everyone was joining in with the conversation. It was really interesting. And we were talking about clairvoyance and mediums and stuff. And so we said we'd go and experience some of that. So I've been, I think probably from my late teens, early 20s, I've been going to see like tarot readers, mediums, God knows what else, and I go in and say, look, there's my money, I'm not going to say a thing, I just want you to tell me whatever you can. If you can't tell me anything, that's fine, but I'm just interested to see what you come out with. And nothing, so I must have seen something like 107 or 8 different people doing that by now, yeah, I would say up to about 7-8 weeks ago, probably the most, I would say probably 3 things that were accurate or something that you couldn't guess at. So something that I would class as interesting. And then we went to a place that was doing clairvoyant thing.
A lovely little place in Chelmsford.
Yeah, they were doing readings. Really lovely people. And we sat and we went through that. And so you came with me to one, and then I've been going every week after that, just out of interest. I'm not going to get any messages or anything. I want to see what they say to different people, and if there's anything unique. For instance, I think I mentioned there was one lady. She said to there's a crowd of people there, and they go, right, I've got I want to come to a certain that's Emma.
Thank you, Emma.
I want to come to this person, and I've got this. Say, for instance, like a father energy coming and a mother energy coming, whatever it may be. And so they go around and they go, I've got this message for you and that message. And anyway, this lady said, they're telling me, and I don't even want to say it, but they're telling me that you can't touch cotton wool. And the lady just burst into laughter, and she said, she was there with her friend, and they hadn't met or anything like that, but with the medium, and she said, yeah, I can't touch dry. I have a phobia about touching dry cotton wool. I can only touch damp cotton wool. And that to me is a very unique thing. There's no way you could take a guess on that, or and there was nothing leading up to it. It was just out of the blue. So that I find really interesting.
Yeah.
So there's been a few things like that have been really interesting.
And one of the readings you sent me was...
Yeah, so every time I go, I record it.
Yeah. We won't go into what they said, but it was very, very accurate, describing Simon's sort of certain elements of Simon's family history, what he does, and sort of how different he is to other members of it. And that's...
So those were
they
things,
understood the dynamic of your
those
family
were things
very
that were
well.
quite unique that you couldn't take a wild guess on.
No.
Or that, like whenever I hear things, I think, right, could that apply to you, me, other people?
Could you put it in a horoscope and everyone would go, "Oh, that's me.
Yeah,
that's so me."
The usual things like, you've been having trouble sleeping. Well, everyone has trouble sleeping.
Yeah. You're at crossroads in your life.
Yeah, well, everyone always has that. Yeah. You've got some gone through some bad times, but you've got good character in you.
You're really supportive, and you don't feel that other people are there for you when you need them.
So there's loads of things like that, and it doesn't mean that that's a lie. It's not.
No, but it's very
just
generic.
Means it can apply to a load of people, and that may and also remember we all have far more in common than we have apart. So those things are. But so we went to this thing yesterday, and it's supposed to be like a load of workshops for various clairvoyants and
developing your mediumship, or people giving lectures about how various
different
elements of spirituality works.
Yeah, of spirituality and stuff like that. And they did it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I think actually the last day was today. Oh no, maybe it was Friday to Tuesday, I think.
Okay.
That's probably right. Because of the bank holiday weekend. And they haven't run that since COVID, but normally it happens every year or every other year. Anyway, so we thought we'd go and just see. And there was a bloke doing what they call trance clairvoyancy. And so he's supposed to go into a trance, and then he starts kind of speaking with a different voice. Now, it's not to say that it's not true or it is true, but we struggled with it, didn't we?
Yeah, it's
that said, in the thing that he did make a couple of things that he said to people that were out of the blue.
Yes, he did sort of do it sort of two sort of
those
little
parts were interesting.
Yeah,
but the rest of anyway, go on. Sorry, I jumped in.
But so he sits there and he says, right, I'm going to go goes into a trance, and then his spirit guide basically would speak through him. So he sits and goes quiet, and then he kind of pops up, and the first thing you hear, so he has quite a high voice, doesn't he? Not particularly sort of a posh voice.
Well, his normal voice is quite kind of
it's quite
blokish,
up there, quite blokish, and then the voice that comes out is sort of, "Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Edward, and I welcome you to this place of enlightenment and learning, and that we are gathered."
So the language was quite flowery, I would have said.
Yeah, it was very flowery, supposed to be very eloquent, educated. And he said before he got into his trance, he said, "We want to try and keep the questions about spiritualism, not personal questions, so that it can benefit everyone." So he gets people to ask him questions. He sets out the sort of premise while when Edward is talking through him, and the questions he was like people asking questions about spirit. What happens when this? What happens that? Every answer was at least 3 weeks long.
Oh, they were long answers, weren't they?
And
the lecture was an hour, so each one was taking kind of 15 minutes, and it was just, rather than going A, B to C, it was like A over to number 14, back to Thursday, Friday, and Julian Clary Road on the crescent of Averhill to 4 days of M. It was like a long way around, but that too, again, our perception of it is judging by our frame of references. We don't know enough about it to be, but we really struggled with it. But I can't speak for you, but I know I really struggled with it.
But there were certain things that, and
it was still interesting.
It was very interesting, especially like watching the people around, the people who were receiving messages, the people who were asking. But the interesting thing of the fact that Edward is supposed to be a spirit. And he's a spirit that has never been born into a mortal.
Never been incarnate.
He's never been incarnated. He just remains in the spirit realm. He seemed very lackluster in the knowledge of actually what happens when you die.
Yeah, but then again, that's how you're perceiving it. So
that's what you said, though, as well.
No, you said that. What I was saying is he said that this is what I know. So he seemed.
Is it for my opinion?
Yeah, for someone who's supposed to be in the process of lecturing us about answers, coming to you for answers, you seem maybe a little uneducated about the thing that you're saying you're going to give answers about. So to me, it's like kind of saying, right, this is a consortium on the European Monetary Union, but I literally know what the notes look like, and that's it.
Yeah,
yeah. That's how it came across to me. So that's what I was saying. Not that. Yeah. I stand corrected, Simon.
But
again, that's our perception, and we don't know enough. I want to find out more about that, because I find that I didn't really know about that side of trance things and stuff. I'd like to find out some more about that. But then when he was talking to those people, so they would ask a question, he'd give this long fucking answer that took forever, and then he'd go, did you have a father, like one of the ladies, he said, you've got a ring, and that ring is from your mum, and she said, oh, it's actually my grandma. Yeah.
But he changed it. Oh yes, it's your grandmother.
No, he didn't change it. He just said, no, he just moved on and said, oh well, she's saying that she's with you, and she's with you closer than that ring. Do you remember him saying that?
Yes.
Yeah. So again,
she is closer than that ring is, or something.
Yeah, she keeps closer to you than that ring is.
Yeah.
And that was just one example. There was a couple of other people that asked questions, and he had something that wasn't, I wouldn't say is very generic to say. You could say, oh well, lots of women have their grandmother's rings and stuff like that, but that's still a bit of a gamble, you know.
Yeah. And then my belly rumbled, and Carrie tried nearly
not to laugh. Yeah.
And then that was the end of it, and then we left, because the queue basically for the refreshments was so long it would have taken probably most of the rest of the day.
But again, just interesting to find out some new things.
Always very interesting. So so that was what Edward was about. So I personally wasn't sold, but then hey, what do I know? That's just my perception of things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining. It was a really interesting conversation.
Lovely. Thank you for sticking around. Good Lord, it's nearly half.
We talked
half past the 10 o'clock.
That's the problem with us. Once we start talking to each other, we just too much.
That's why it was dangerous. Simon gave me a lift on Friday. I was trying to preserve my voice, and I know literally he is my Achilles heel when it comes to me trying to voice preserve, because I just want to chat to him. But thank you very much, everyone. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll just sit here dancing around, and I'll tell you what, let's do it. Fuck it, where is it? We need a very quick bit of...
No music!
No!
There's no disco.
Oh, hang on. I know why.
It's on there.
Let's try it now.
Disco, keep it moving. Disco, party time. Disco, on the dance floor. Disco, party time.
Fuck yeah.
Take good care, have a good week, and be kind.
All right, everyone. Much love. See you soon. Bye.